September 15th to 17th, Occupy Wall Street gathered in Lower Manhattan to commemorate 1 full year of actions. The 3 days were broken up into a day of education, a day of celebration, and a day of liberation.
People are out here today primarily to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the encampment that happened last year in the Wall Street district.
Those in attendance made clear that their movement is far from over.
Occupy in its second year has matured.
The energy is still there and it's spreading out.
Since the eviction of Occupy Wall Street from Zuccotti Park, there has been a proliferation of neighborhood organizing around local issues.
We're breaking off into separate groups to focus on issues.
Instead of being in one big location, we're doing concrete things in neighborhoods and in workplaces.
People did go back into their neighborhoods and are organizing rent strikes now. Occupy the Homes has come out of it. Stop and Frisk has been a major organizing focus now. So I think people are going to their neighborhoods, looking at issues that are affecting them locally, figuring out how to organize with people in their community.
These are the kinds of projects that summon the public participation, the participation in direct democracy that you live every single day.
The mood throughout the 3 days was celebratory, marking the many achievements of the Occupy movement thus far. Participants highlighted some specific impacts that Occupy has had.
I think Occupy deserves a lot of credit. We've seen a summer of scandal with the banks. We've seen a lot of prosecutions. There was a large settlement with Wells Fargo over discriminatory housing practices. There were investigations into LIBOR manipulation. And LIBOR manipulation was known about all the way back when it was happening in '08. So I think a lot of the credit goes for creating the political cover for those prosecutors, for those politicians to go after these moneyed interests. And I think the credit for that goes to Occupy.
Participants also stressed the deeper political impact of Occupy.
We changed the conversation, we brought in class consciousness, but that's just the beginning of the analysis. We've refined our thinking and we've articulated ourselves well. And for people that think that economic and political and social justice is reducible to a set of demands, they're just wrong. This is a structural issue that's happening globally, and it is a crisis of capitalism.
Many participants view Occupy Wall Street as an important part of a global movement that rejects structures of representation and pushes for more horizontal forms of organizing.
The refusal of representation, both the electoral system and party structures and even representatives of the movement itself, that questioning of representation goes with a reinvention of democracy.
So we are part of a global phenomenon that is including tens of millions of people who are coming together with forms of direct democracy and direct action.
What we're discovering together is new ways of organizing that are horizontal, that are empowering to communities, that actually people take their lives into their own hands.
Hey everyone! Hey everyone! We're gonna shut down Wall Street today!
The 3 days of action culminated on September 17th, when affinity groups swarmed the financial district using direct action in an attempt to shut down the center of global finance. Direct action clusters were divided into 4 themes: the strike debt block, the 99% block, the eco block, and the education block. The goal was to form a human wall around Wall Street.
We started off the day with the People's Wall. It was a massive march of people. We started in 4 different sections and we all converged towards the New York Stock Exchange. There were a number of people that sat down in civil disobedience and were promptly picked up by the police. After that, we had the 99 whirlwinds, where people were sort of essentially doing a picket line, but around an intersection in order to disrupt traffic and essentially to try and shut down the financial district.
This morning, thousands of people were converging all around Wall Street, and actions are continuing now. There were over 100 arrests this morning, and in the meantime, we have reoccupied Liberty Square.
By the end of the day, there were 185 arrests. The participants saw the anniversary as the start of a new phase for the Occupy movement.
I think the important thing about this action is not just that we're standing a year later, but the movement sort of grew up on this action. We organized through affinity groups, spokes councils, decentralized actions instead of big mass moving marches, big mass assemblies. And it's a whole new chapter for building a horizontal direct action movement.
We've built levels of infrastructure that is only going to increase over time.
For over a year now, Occupy has surprised me at every point. It's created a new ground on which future movements will take off from. So what I expect is completely irrelevant, or it's proved to be inadequate. I think maybe what I should expect is that Occupy will surprise me.